Hersam Acorn Newspapers, publishers of the Greenwich Post, New Canaan Advertiser, the Darien Times, the Ridgefield Press, the Weston Forum, the Wilton Bulletin, the Reading Pilot, the Lewisboro Ledger, the Monroe Courier, the Eastern Courier, the Trumbull Times, Fairfield Sun, Shelton Herald, the Stratford Star, the Milford Mirror, and the Valley Gazette.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com. The leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.
This is your coffee break on HANradio.com.
It's Wednesday, May 20th, and this is your coffee break on HANradio.com, streaming live on the Hersam Acorn Network at HANradio.com/livestream. Along with John Kovach and Rob Adams, I'm Josh Fisher. Kate Czaplinski is off today researching ancient Vermont rituals. Don Eng will be by in a bit to tell us about this day in history, but first, let's take a look at the roads in southwestern Connecticut with John.
Thanks, Josh. A lot of the earlier delays are cleared. There are a few spots where there is road work, among them in Wallingford on 15 north at exit 66, road work in Orange to Wilbur Cross south at exit 58, that is Route 34, road work in North Haven 91 south at exit 9. I see nothing about any work on the Merritt, but the way that's been going of late, I'm certain they're set
There's
up
always
somewhere.
work on the Merritt, John.
Yeah, they only let us know when there's not. Josh, what's the weather? A little chilly when I left the house
A little
morning.
chillier today, John. High in Shelton, where we are today, is expected to be 66. That's well below the near 80 we got to yesterday up here. But it will be sunny and just partly cloudy today. Tomorrow also, Thursday, when we're going to be at Two Roads down in Stratford all day long broadcasting from there, it'll be 68. And with a low of 50 Friday, things start to warm up. It'll be up to 75 when we'll be broadcasting live the Darien-Norwalk baseball game for first place in the FCAC at 4 o'clock that day. Weekend looking pretty good, though. 69, a high and sunny on Saturday, 80 on Sunday. Right now it's 58 right outside our windows here in Shelton, Connecticut.
And this is literally just in from Norwalk Police, a traffic advisory. Connecticut Avenue from Rampart Road to the Darien line has lost power. They're advising drivers to use caution. Traffic signals are not functioning. This is Connecticut Avenue, which is Route 1. From Rampart Road in Norwalk to the Darien line, Eversource, formerly known as CLMP, is aware and on their way, we assume, to the scene in Norwalk.
Well, John, is that it with that?
That's it with that.
Okay.
I should have teed you up.
Josh, back to you.
Thank you, Rob. President Obama has arrived in Connecticut this morning. He's going to give the commencement address at the United States Coast Guard Academy in New London this morning. And after that, he'll head down to Stamford for a private Democratic event. We'll keep you posted on the traffic situation as that develops today on our websites and on HANradio.com. John, did you shell out the $33,000 for a sit-down with the president today in Stamford?
I told him you were good for it. Serious news, Josh, but a story out of New Canaan. A New Canaan police officer saved a choking patron of an Elm Street restaurant yesterday afternoon. Multiple 911 calls at 1:35 p.m. reported a person choking at Sushi 25, that's at 25 Elm Street. New Canaan Police and the New Canaan Volunteer Ambulance Corps were dispatched. New Canaan police officer Shane Gibson was off duty but working an extra duty job on Elm Street. He heard the emergency call, immediately ran to the scene, evaluated the person who was choking, and performed the Heimlich maneuver successfully, dislodging the food that the victim was choking on, and police say saving the New Canaan resident's life. The person is expected to fully recover. New Canaan police announced that Gibson will be given the Medical Service Award at an upcoming ceremony and will also be nominated for the Red Cross Heroes Award.
A fire Tuesday night has temporarily closed S&S Dugout at 3449 Post Road in Southport. Fairfield firefighters responded to a 911 call reporting a building fire last night. Firefighters found heavy smoke inside the building, which houses a restaurant on the first floor and an apartment on the second. A resident who works for S&S told firefighters that after smelling smoke, he opened the restaurant and used a fire extinguisher to control a fire behind the counter. Firefighters evacuated the building and doused with flames, and they doused the flames. No injuries were reported. Fire and smoke damage was confined to the first floor of the building, but the restaurant will remain closed until repairs can be made. The building and health departments were requested to the scene to assist with the investigation. Assistant Fire Chief Scott Bison credited quick actions by residents with preventing the fire from spreading too large before firefighters arrived, saying that could allow the business to reopen soon. The cause of the fire remains under investigation by the Fairfield Fire Marshal's office and appears to have originated inside a commercial dishwasher. It's usually full of water. Those dishwashers, not fire.
Yeah, I'm confused by that.
But, that's...
Any electrical appliance I get. Darien First Selectman Jamie Stevenson plans to seek re-election this fall for what would be her 4th term on the Board of Selectmen and her 3rd in the town's top seat, and she visited the Darien Times Tuesday to break the news. Joining her were current fellow Republican Selectman Susan Marks, who also plans to seek her 2nd term on the board this fall. Current Republican Selectman and Kentucky Derby horse breeder Jerry Nielsen will not be seeking re-election for what would be a 4th term this fall. Republican Jennifer Summer will take his place to run for the board with the Republican team, all of whom made the announcement to the Darien Times together on Tuesday. Summer is a 20-year Darien resident who has raised 3 children in town. She served 6 years on the representative town meeting, including as chairman of District 1. She served on boards of the Darien Norwalk YWCA, Opus for Person to Person, and various school boards. She also serves as Religious Education Director for St. Thomas More in Darien. Last week, fellow Republican and former Selectman Joe Michelli indicated his intention to run for First Selectman. Former Democrat Rob Werner has also said he is exploring the possibility of running unaffiliated. DarienTimes.com is the place to cover what could be a very interesting prelude to the election now.
It could, for a while there was almost always a Republican primary, at least for about, I think, 3 straight election cycles over 6 years, a Republican primary for First Selectman in Darien. That hasn't happened since 2005. When Susan Young beat Joe Warren.
That is a long period of peace
10 years.
in Darien Republican politics.
Right. I mean, at least peace out in public.
Well, yeah. There's always war behind this.
Yeah. Should be interesting to follow, though. Darien politics is always interesting in the Republican Party, as you certainly covered Darien for a while, as did I. There's really more than one Republican Party in Darien.
Oh, there's probably 4,000 or 5,000 of them. To be honest with you,
sometimes it's like a European Parliament. It seems like
it's little factions that kind of come together.
It is, and Joe Michelli, who's a longtime dentist in Darien, is kind of represents the old a previous guard. I wouldn't say the old guard of the Republicans, a previous guard, and Jamie Stevenson certainly represents the new group of Republicans, and she's been a successful first selectman, and a lot of people around the state certainly pay attention to what Jamie Stevenson is up to.
She's a formidable foe to challenge in a primary.
Yes, so that'll certainly be something fun for those of us who are into small town politics to follow here on HANradio.com and on DarienTimes.com as 2015 moves along. And as we move along, John, let's do one more story before we check in on the roads and see if President Obama is making his way down to Stanford yet. More than 150 pounds of heroin from Mexico, bound for Connecticut and worth at least $50 million, has been seized in New York, authorities said yesterday. The Drug Enforcement Administration and Special Narcotics Prosecutor Bridget Brennan called the heroin seizure the largest ever recorded by the DEA in New York State. Agents also arrested Jose Mercedes and Yency Cruz Francisco, both of the Bronx, and recovered $2 million in cash on Tuesday. Authorities believe the ring had been receiving similar-sized shipments each month from suppliers in Mexico. They say it was a main source of heroin for users in New York City, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. The Associated Press reported that investigators monitoring wiretaps learned the defendants were expecting a large drug shipment over the weekend. They followed the two suspects as they traveled in tandem in a Chevy Suburban and another vehicle to an industrial area of Montville, New Jersey, where tractor-trailers were parked, and then to a residential part of the Bronx, the complaint says. This is apparently supposed to really hamper the spread of heroin in the Northeast.
I heard that, and the amount that they seized is just so massively high.
Yeah, $50 million worth. You see the pictures are amazing.
Really are.
So,
really are.
how are the roads doing, John, before we take a break?
President Obama, as we speak, is delivering the commencement address at the Coast Guard Academy. So he'll talk, then they'll fly him from Groton, New London, down this way. I believe he's landing in Newburgh.
So he doesn't get a chance to experience Connecticut traffic?
Nope.
Oh, that's too bad.
They never get to experience traffic because
it's almost like a tourist attraction, I think, around here. Yeah, sit on the Merritt Parkway.
Sit on the Merritt Parkway.
Look at the trees.
You can sit up in Madison on 95 North, about a mile and a quarter before exit 61. That's Route 79, Durham Road. That just in. Earlier delays have cleared. Still have to road work in Wallingford on the Wilbercross Parkway North at exit 66. That's right about where everything comes together. 91, the Wilbercross, 691,
the
Main
crossroads
Street
of
in
Connecticut.
Meriden. It really is. It's 2 levels from being a mixmaster. Road work in Orange on the Wilbercross South. I'm right.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not wrong.
No.
Road work on Wilbercross South at exit 58. That's Route 34. And delays still reported in Guilford on 95 South at exit 58. Taking a look at the weather, 59 and cloudy. Wind blowing pretty well outside our Shelton office. Mid-60s today, dropping into the 40s tonight. Sunny, high 60s tomorrow. Far cry from the steamy afternoon we had yesterday.
Yes. Today would be a great day to carry a large platform somewhere.
Yes, it would.
If we had to do that.
You know what would be a better day to do? Carry a large platform, then carry it back where you started.
Yes. That was fun doing that yesterday, right at the peak of that 80-degree humidity, you, Rob, and me.
And then run about a mile of cable.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we'll be taking a look at what happened in sports yesterday. I know you guys were at the final regular season lacrosse game. We got some baseball coming up and a lot more along with history with Don Eng. You're listening and watching Coffee Break on HANradio.com.
Your child has fallen and broken his arm. You need to see an orthopedist fast. Think Coastal Ortho Express in Norwalk. Don't wait hours in the ER. Save a trip and money by going straight to an orthopedic specialist at Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care in Norwalk. No appointment necessary. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, 203-845-2070. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or call 203-845-2070. Fast.
Spring is finally in the air, and our favorite season is upon us. The Dock Shop is all geared up with a great selection of fishing tackle, custom fishing rods, and all the latest in New York City.
Ironically, much faster than you will drive on Lexington
I think that
today.
They actually stop faster than 12 miles an hour.
Let's see. Where was I? 1916. Saturday Evening Post publishes its first cover featuring a Norman Rockwell painting. That painting was Boy with Baby Carriage. If you're not watching it, there's a boy wearing a bowler hat and suit and pushing a carriage, and his friends are all mocking him as they wear their baseball uniforms. 1969. In Vietnam, American forces capture Hill 7 after a fierce 10-day battle. Although the hill was extremely steep, heavily fortified, and of virtually no strategic value, U.S. command ordered its capture by frontal assault. The action caused a controversy in the American military. When the U.S. abandoned the hill just a few weeks later, the troops nicknamed the action the Battle of Hamburger Hill because of the way the fighting ground up the men involved. And finally, in 1927, down near Rob's stomping grounds, there was this.
The greatest stunt of all begins on the misty morning of May 20th, as a young airmail pilot hastens to be the first to fly nonstop from New York to Paris. He hopes to capture a $25,000 prize for which the world's top aviators are competing. His name is Charles A. Lindbergh. He's the dark horse in the transatlantic air race, but the crowds are with him, for unlike the others, he flies alone. The field is soft with rain. The little monoplane, with neither radio nor safety equipment, is heavily loaded with fuel. Ahead, 3,600 miles to Paris, and all America vicariously shares every lonely mile.
That, of course, Charles Lindbergh taking off from Roosevelt Field in Long Island, New York, on the world's first solo nonstop flight across the Atlantic. There were other competing groups vying for the $25,000 prize to fly nonstop from New York to Paris. Foreshadowing.
You are aware of it?
I am aware.
Jack Dempsey.
Wait.
Red Grange. I'm a sports guy.
Levi Strauss.
Oh, there's that too.
Because where we will be tomorrow, at one point, is where every rivet that went in every pair of Levi's jeans was made.
That's actually not going to be the newsreel tomorrow, but that is a good foreshadowing.
No, but it'll come up again because we do that. Throw it to Rob Adams for sports. And
Yes,
well,
sir.
we were relieved after the action evened out a little bit about 5 minutes in last night.
Well, you look at the records at first going into that game last night, guys, and you say to yourself, "Oh boy, we could be in for a long night." As New Canaan's one of the top teams in the FCAC, and Fairfield Ward has kind of struggled their way, certainly in the conference, 7 wins on the season otherwise, but. Well, 23 seniors were honored at Dunning Field last night in New Canaan, and then the Rams went out and beat Fairfield Ward 13-8. But at times it was closer than that. In fact, it was 6-4 at halftime, 6-5 in early in the third quarter. But the Rams, the better team, they ran away later on. Co-captains Michael Kraus and Justin Meichner scored three goals each. Elsewhere on the scoreboard, it was Darien over Norwalk, 21-3. Ludlow took care of St. Joe's, 13-3. Staples 17, West Hill 3. Seemed like it was not a good night for matchups. Greenwich 20, McMahon 12, and Ridgefield throttled Trumbull 16-1.
So, Rob, was 20-12 the closest? Or no, the one we had was the closest.
Yeah, the one we had actually was the closest, an 5-goal difference because 20-12 is 8. So, yeah. That's the best we could do.
So 5-goal game was the closest game in FCAC area lacrosse last night.
Yeah, that's not great. That's kind of a rough night. Let's see if we can do any better on the girls' side, guys. Greenwich took care of Staples by the same score, 13-8. It was Darien 17, Ward 8. Here's a close one for you. Stanford over Norwalk, 14-11, and Ridgefield beat Danbury 13-10. Back up to baseball we go, thanks to Bill Bloxam. The Stratford High baseball team was led by Tim Levine, who had a triple and drove in 4 runs. In an SWC victory over Colby Cathedral on Tuesday, Jonathan Brooks got the pitching win, with Christian Bradley and Brett Cody coming on in relief to complete the 4-hitter. Jordan Miller had 2 hits for the Cougars. Bunnell High will host Newtown High on Saturday the 23rd at 2 in an SWC quarterfinal round baseball game at the Bunnell baseball field. To softball, Bunnell High softball team qualified for the upcoming state tournament with a 6-4 victory over Massac in Monroe on Tuesday. The Bulldogs finished the regular season 8-12, Massac 11-9. Meg Uranowski single-doubled and scored a run for Bunnell. We move on now to boys golf. Ridgefield a win over Staples. It was Greenwich over Darien by 6 shots. New Canaan takes care of Ward. Ward also beat Norwalk. Ludlow beat Norwalk because they have these group matches. Wilton over McMahon, and Trumbull beat Danbury. On the girls' golf, it was Darien over Danbury. Greenwich beat Ward. Wilton over New Canaan, and Ridgefield over Trumbull. Boys volleyball, New Canaan shuts down St. Joe's 3-2. Staples shuts out Central 3-0, and Darien does the same to Newtown 3-0. It's also St. Joe's over Stamford 5-2. As we turn to the schedule, you've got the FCAC girls tennis quarterfinals today. All of these matches starting at 4. It's number 8 Trumbull at number 1 Ludlow, number 2 Staples hosting number 7 Ward, number 6 New Canaan at number 3 Darien, and number 5 Greenwich will take on number 4 Wilton. Baseball, there are some games today as well. Greenwich at Stanford, Central at Danbury, Ward at Trumbull, Norwalk home for Staples, Darien hosts Ridgefield, McMahon at Bassac, St. Joe's at New Canaan, Trinity Catholic at Harding, and Wilton is at Ludlow. Another baseball baseball note for you, and this is a programming note, and Josh alluded to it earlier. We've made a broadcasting change. We've flexed to a game on Friday, as we will have baseball as Darien visits Norwalk at 4 p.m. The winner will be the top seed heading into the FCAC playoffs. On to the softball side of things. It's Danbury at Central, Stanford at Greenwich, Ward home for Trumbull, Darien at Ridgefield, Bassick at McMahon, Ludlow at Wilton, New Canaan at St. Joe's, Harding at Trinity Catholic, and Norwalk at Staples. If time allows, we will give you some more in our second report later on, and of course Nutmeg Sports later on today as well. But that'll do it for sports for now. And with sports, I'm Rob Adams. Coffee break time, 11:26.
Thanks, Rob. John, we had something else happen in New Canaan yesterday.
Yes, we did.
A New Canaan police arrested an 18-year-old male at the high school on Tuesday and charged him with possession of marijuana with intent to sell. The arrest was made at the school. After being alerted by school administrators, police found the student Brooks Hood with prepackaged marijuana, a scale, and cash, which were seized during the arrest. He was also charged with possession of marijuana in a school zone. Hood was released on a $10,000 bond, according to New Canaan Police, and is scheduled to appear later in Norwalk Superior Court.
Thanks, Josh. In other police news, 3 Norwalk women were arrested after police said they coordinated an effort to walk some $700 worth of goods out the door of Stop and Shop on Old Kings Highway in Darien. It happened Monday night, May 11th, a little before 9:30. Store personnel were watching 3 individuals as they moved around the store. Police said one of the 3 shoppers then went out into the parking lot and they said appeared to be acting as a lookout. Meanwhile, the other 2 shoppers wheeled out of the store with shopping carts they had been filling, but store personnel stopped them and called police. All 3 suspects denied they were doing anything wrong, police said. They claimed they had been trying to use a Stop and Shop application to pay for the item, and the application had not worked properly. The employees informed police that Stop and Shop does not use such an app. Problematic there. 22-year-old Kara Crawford Jean and 21-year-old Delicia Crawford Jean, both of Phillip Street in Norwalk, along with 23-year-old Samantha Lynn Crucity of Tracy Street, were all charged with 5th-degree larceny, conspiracy to commit 5th-degree larceny. They posted separate $250 bonds and are due in court tomorrow.
Milford police arrested a New Haven man on a warrant yesterday for allegedly stealing about $2,600 from a clothing store that he worked at. Police said 26-year-old Keith Evans of New Haven worked at Joseph A. Bank, a men's clothing store at 1468 Boston Post Road in Milford. And in April, store officials complained about an employee theft, and police investigators determined that Evans was making fraudulent merchandise returns and diverting the money to his personal credit card. The returns totaled $2,616.36. Evans was charged with larceny and was released from police custody on his promise to appear in court on June 9th. Coffee break time's 11:28. John?
Remember after Hurricane Sandy, they urged
most of it.
They urged homeowners near the shore to elevate their houses.
Yes.
So they did that in Milford. Like
Some people did that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Some people in Milford are now learning that because they did that, it will cost them more in taxes because they're being taxed for having what is being called a partial marsh view.
A partial marsh view.
Milford residents have been paying more for nice views for years. In 2006, with revaluation, people along the shoreline braced for substantial tax increases because the sales prices for properties along the shore increased proportionately more than those of homes inland. Revaluation reflected that swing, adding to the assessments along the shoreline. So they're being surprised by getting these tax bills with PMV on it. Mm-hmm. And it stands for partial marsh view.
I'm hearing that said in Jan Brady's voice.
Partial marsh.
Partial marsh.
It's a very interesting story at milfordmirror.com, and it's far too complex to get into in the time we have here. But I just wanted it's just fascinating. Okay, you have to do this. Okay, now give us some more money because we made you spend this money.
But at least, you hope if that's what it costs to save their houses from another hurricane. That'd be nice.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Hope so.
I don't know who really wants that, that view of the marsh.
Some are pretty.
Yeah, that's right. I was at a
It
nice
is a
marsh. I
marsh.
was at a nice marsh over the weekend. You're right. Down in Rye.
Ah, there you go.
You got nice marshes in Rye.
I don't even know what to do with
I'm
that.
at a loss.
There's a reason why I'm only on this show once a week.
It's 11:30. Why don't we step out? When we come back, we are going to talk about the Center for Cancer Care at Griffin Hospital's upcoming 5K walk run, and continue with more.
Yeah, we're also gonna, find out what JetBlue is doing right that the other airline carriers aren't with Jim Cameron's Talking Transportation commentary.
So stick with us on Coffee Break on HANradio.com, streaming on the Hersam Acorn Network.
It's Lots of Characters, specializing in children's birthday parties with your child's favorite characters. When you want to party hardy, when you need to celebrate, call us, we won't be late. We help create lasting memories for you and your child on their special day. Call us at 203-590-1791 or visit our website at lotsofcharacters.org for more information and to see our party packages. Lots of Characters, 203-590-1791 or online at lotsofcharacters.org.
Located in the heart of picturesque downtown Ridgefield at 13 Governor Street, Colby's is the area's premier retailer for blinds, shades, shutters, and draperies, and is one of the select few Hunter Douglas Gallery dealers. A family-owned and operated company, Colby's experienced staff will work with you in choosing the best treatments for your home or office and offer free measuring and expert installation. Colby's also carries an extensive line of decorative fabrics including Schumacher, Durley, Tebow, and more. Or browse over 400 books in our wallpaper library from famous designers such as Stroheim, Schumacher, Ralph Lauren, Tebow, and York. Take advantage of our Fashion in Motion savings event with savings and rebates on Hunter Douglas shades with Power Rise technology. Colby's of Ridgefield. We are committed to your complete satisfaction. 203-438-8531.
Spring is finally in the air and our favorite season is upon us. The Dock Shop is all geared up with a great selection of fishing tackle, custom fishing rods, and all the latest accessories to replenish your tackle box. The Dock Shop has also just brought out the newest spring fashion apparel from Montauk Tackle, Altered Latitudes, Kaylee Smith, and Margaritaville Apparel. Need some new foul weather gear for those chilly spring mornings? The Dock Shop is loaded up with Grundens and Stormer in a variety of styles and sizes. Ladies, we've got you covered as well with spring apparel and the newest designs of coastal jewelry, bags, and accessories. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, Connecticut. Visit us at dockshop.com.
You're listening to Hersam Acorn Radio.
Any regular reader of my newspaper column knows that I hate flying. I love travel, but getting there by air is a pain, and it's only getting worse. This is Jim Cameron for Talking Transportation, commentary and analysis on getting around in Connecticut. Our local airports are vying for third world status. The security searches by the TSA make a colonoscopy look like fun. And once you get on the plane, the airline seats and service make the Funghua bus seem like a viable alternative. Why is it that airlines are vying for the cheapest products instead of the best? Why this race to the bottom where low-cost carriers like Spirit and Southwest are the models instead of overseas service exemplars like Singapore and Emirates Airways? I, for one, am willing to pay more to get more. I may not opt for first class, but I will only fly in business class on flights to California. The flight's too long. It's worth it. But the legacy carriers like American and United ask for $1,600 one way from New York to L.A., and they can get it. Their business class is full thanks to frequent flyer upgrades. But now there is a cheaper, better alternative, JetBlue. Now, when JetBlue began as a low-cost carrier in the year 2000, it found a loyal following by offering high-frequency, friendly, comfortable flights. Today, they are an international carrier serving 87 destinations with more than 200 aircraft, and they have one of the hottest terminals at JFK, Terminal 5. 10 of their newest planes, A321s, now offer a new product called Mint, with truly first-class seating at lower than business class fares. I finally had a chance to sample the service on a recent flight to Los Angeles. First, there is the seat itself. There are only 16 seats with full 6-foot lie-flat beds. I lucked out and got one of the 4 private cabins with 22-inch wide seats and a sliding door to the corridor. My TV was a 15-inch flat screen with live satellite feeds, movies, Sirius XM radio. I had 2 AC plugs and a pair of USB outlets to keep all my gear fully charged in flight. When I boarded, I found a welcome note written by hand from the flight crew thanking me for my business. Also awaiting was a full duvet and pillow, an amenities kit, and free Wi-Fi coast to coast. After takeoff came the usual beverages and a most unusual meal. The choice of 3 tapas-like entrees from a menu of 5 on offer, prepared by Saxon and Parole in New York. The lobster mac and cheese was to die for. But they also had kosher, vegan, and gluten-free options. And coming soon, an on-board cappuccino machine. The service was amazing. This was one of the best flights ever, and I have logged miles for decades on 5 continents, and the ticket was only $5.99 one way. I would gladly have paid more. The bad news is this amazing product is only available on flights from JFK to Los Angeles and San Francisco. Rumor has it they may also add transcon flights from Boston, but you won't be flying Mint on your way to Orlando anytime soon. Maybe to the Caribbean. So kudos to New York's hometown airline for continuing to be innovative and offering more for less and making flying fun again. This is Jim Cameron for Talking Transportation.
Okay, well, if you haven't run out to jump on a JetBlue plane for the food, Josh, you may still be here for Coffee Break on HANradio.com, streaming on the Hersam Acorn Network. We are joined by Christian Marr. He's communications specialist for Griffin Hospital. He's going to talk to us about the 5K walk run to benefit the Center for Cancer Care at Griffin Hospital. Welcome to Coffee Break, Christian. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much for coming. I came equipped with my coffee. just in case I jumped. I usually have my 12th cup of coffee at 2 o'clock, but for you guys, I brought it a little early today. So happy to be here. Thanks for letting me get my 12th cup earlier today.
Yeah, I'm behind too.
October in 2008, and we started the walk run in 2009 as it was really just a celebration, a one-year celebration, and we wanted to do something for the community that was active. You know, what Griffin tries to do at the hospital is make it not just a place for people to come and get what's traditionally been sick care, right? You know, you come to a hospital when you're sick. We've tried to revolutionize what a hospital is and make it a place you come to actually get healthy and have health care. So when we started this 5K, it was to celebrate the Center for Cancer Care and to say, you know, we want to bring the survivors back, and we're hoping that our survivors are being healthy and going out and doing things like 5Ks and doing runs. And it turns out that people just donated us money. So we said, well, this is great. Let's start a fund, because we have cancer patients that come to us all the time and they say, I don't know if I can make my treatments. I can't afford a taxi ride. Or, you know, I recently lost my job. I'm under a lot of stress, a lot of strain about my mortgage payment coming up. And we said, you know, we need to have a way to help these folks. So we started the 5K in October as a one-year anniversary. This year we're moving it to June because traditionally we do a nice celebration for National Cancer Survivors Day, which is on June 7th. And we're in the 7th year of our walk run, and we thought, it would be better to pair these two events together, because we would love to have the survivors come down, the ones we invite every year to come back, the ones we've helped heal, and we want to have them come down and see the community come together at the 5K and really run in support and encouragement and in honor of their local cancer survivors. So we brought those two together as a way to sort of make it both events stronger together and unite them and really have a solidified message and a stronger message.
Does it help that someone who's maybe recently been diagnosed with cancer to see some of these survivors who have been through it?
Oh,
before?
Yes. Oh, we have several support groups at the Cancer Center, and I've been part of it a couple times going in to talk to these support groups. And I can't tell you how a person's spirits pick up when they go to a support group for the first time, because you feel like you're all alone. You feel like nobody knows what I'm going through. Nobody can possibly understand all the nerves that I have, all the frustrations that I have. I can only compare it to the fact that when I had my daughter. And so my wife and I, everybody said to us, oh, it's easy, it's just, the baby comes out, it's fine, everything, don't worry about it, right? But we were just completely lost and completely confused until we went to our first class, and we were with other new first-time parents. And so in a way, definitely not the exact same way, but it's nice to go and with people, and when you talk about your treatments and you talk about hearing those words from your doctor, you have cancer, you can talk to someone who heard those same words, and you can ask questions, to somebody who's gone through the same exact thing. So it's always great to have these Survivor Day activities and have people come back together, and they become like a sisterhood or a brotherhood. And that camaraderie is really strong, and it's really uplifting in their spirit. And so the support group we have, they meet monthly. Circle of Friends is one we've had for several years at the Cancer Center, and I can tell you they're just a great bunch of energetic women. So on June 6th, I want to make sure I get the date out as much as possible. I work in communications, so Saturday, June 6th, we're going to have our 7th annual walk run. It is an event for people to come down and run if they want, especially walk. It's a non-competitive event. We do have a clock going, but we want to make sure it's for everybody, family and friends and all sorts of stuff. And we want survivors to come down and help us cheer on these walkers and runners who are going to go around the streets of Derby and Ansonia and raise some money for a really good cause.
Do you need to register in advance?
Oh, yes. In fact, when this week is through, we're going to charge you an extra $5. So it's $25 until the week changes to Sunday. So you got to get in by, I always get confused here, 11:59 on Saturday, right? Midnight belongs to Sunday.
Midnight belongs to Sunday.
Okay, I always get that confused.
Yeah.
It was taught probably second or first grade, and I don't know what I was doing.
I'm usually calling him or
around 11:59 because the cutoff's midnight.
That's the thing about this computer age. These clocks, you can't reason with them in computers.
No.
As soon as that changes, that's it.
It's over.
You
Yeah,
can't
that's
go
true.
Back. And so, yes, 11:59 then, and 59 seconds is your last chance to register for $25, and that website is griffinhealth.org/5K. You can also find a link on griffinhealth.org if remembering the /5K is too hard for you. So, or you can just Google it. The 5K walk run at. To benefit the Center for Cancer Care at Griffin Hospital.
Now, Christian, the Valley is a really a special, unique area of Connecticut. How important and what sort of role does Griffin Hospital play in that whole community?
Well, I like to say that Griffin Hospital is the little hospital that could. Basically, we're surrounded by some of the big boys in the area. Yale is just basically down the street. So what we go above and beyond in is customer service, and our cancer center goes way, way beyond in that. If you ever get a chance, we invite you to come down to our cancer center. It's 350 Seymour Avenue. We spent time in designing it to bring down the anxiety. When you walk in, it is a welcoming place. We have a wonderful waterfall. We have a wide open lobby. We have volunteers who are there to meet you and ask you where you're going and take you actually there. And we have a resource room with computers and all sorts of books. So you don't have to have an appointment for anything. You can just come down and hang out. We have the computers set up there for you, or ask some questions of our staff there. And we found that cancer is a big issue in the Valley, especially with breast cancer. We have a center for the Hewitt Center for Breast Wellness that does mammography. It does 3D mammography, which is sort of the latest and greatest, so that it it finds out less. It makes less false negatives. So it basically, when you go in there and we say if you have cancer or don't have cancer, we're very, very sure of what we've scanned. And so that also is good in bringing down the anxiety. And so this is a place where you don't have to travel into the city. You don't have to worry about parking. We've got plenty of parking. And you don't have to, worry about traffic. And it's right there in your backyard. So that's what we like to bring. We like to bring customer service all the way. We like to bring convenience, and we like to bring a comprehensive and friendly nature with it. So we've got physical therapy right there in that same building, I should say. We got nutritionists that'll come down and talk to you about what your sort of your new diet should be during treatment. We actually have Yale Smilo doctors doing oncology. They rent offices from us right in the cancer center. So you can go and get the prestige of Yale and their physicians right there. And then we have some of the latest, greatest technology for radiation right there in the hospital as well.
So it's all one continuum, supported in part by funds from the 5K on June 6th.
Well, the 5K supports basically a patient needs.
The patient needs.
The patient needs. When we have our social worker there, and what we found out the year after we opened the Center for Cancer Care is there is a great, great need in the Valley. There are people who are really, really down on their luck, and to make matters worse, when they get cancer, it's even worse because you're going to be away from work for a while, and sometimes your boss says, "Sorry, Charlie, you're out of a job."
Right.
And so we got people coming to us and saying, "Look, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this next treatment," or "Look, I don't know how I can even afford Insure, the Boost Insure. We hope that that it's tough to chew. There's a lot of pain that happens." So we say, "We'll have those dietary supplements," and they say, "Well, I can't afford that." And so what we like to do is right then and there, with the funds that we raise at the 5K, is say, "Here's a $100 gift card to Stop and Shop, to ShopRite, to Adams, wherever," and we say, "Go down, buy it. It's on us." It's not really on us. It's actually on the community. It's on all these walkers and
it's
runners.
filling the gaps that are out there.
Absolutely.
And there are numerous gaps.
Oh yeah, there are a lot. And so the same thing goes, especially for transportation. That's sort of the big one, is that you need to have somebody bring you there and bring you back. And people like the American Cancer Society, they have volunteers, but it doesn't always, they can't always link things up. And so what we like to do is we like to say, taxi's on us, and we'll order it and we'll pay for it, and they'll go and pick up. So it is great. And it's just, it's awesome that the community comes together and does this. We basically just sort of line up a start and a stop point, and then, we sound off an air horn and things like that and set up a website. But it's really, the community makes it their own. They get out and they fundraise, and we're just happy to have that support and spread the love.
One thing I like about it, there are a lot of such walks to raise money. Yours begins, the check-in is at the center, so you can see what you're working at. You're not meeting at a beach or at a facility or at a field. You're going to the center, the users of which you are helping support, and you get to see it.
Yeah.
And that's got to be inspirational to those who are going to check in and do the walk.
Yes, and we walk around the neighborhood around the cancer center as well. So, and as far as I know, that's the only real walk through those streets. So it's very interesting, and it's actually a very nice walk. We got a lot of sidewalks that go through, and we turn up sort of Coon Hollow, which is a nice road there, and we go down into Ansonia and then double back. So we actually cross the cancer center twice. So it's nice. We invite the survivors to come down, and we give them a nice gift bag, and have them relax and have some coffee or some tea or whatever, and they get to sort of cheer on the walkers twice as they go through, and it's a nice mass of, usually it's purple. This year we're going to be blue. We're kind of going with some new stuff. So
you should have told me, Christian.
Oh,
you know
man.
What I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what.
John's got the
I'm
blue.
ahead of the curve.
I come bearing gifts, because I know you guys have been looking at my head and wondering, where do I get one of those? So pass it on down. This is called a fandana. It's basically a bandana, but it's just, I don't know if bandana stands for fake bandana or what.
Or just for fans?
Yes. Well, if you watch Survivor, it's kind of exactly like the buffs.
Like the buffs.
You throw 'em on.
Okay.
So if you're thin enough, I think you can actually wear. If you're thin enough, I think you can actually wear it as a shirt.
Well, I can't do that. So
this one shows
like
the logo best, but I kind of like to do it this way because it looks tough. I channel my inner Daniel LaRusso.
For those listening, we absolutely need photographic evidence of this moment.
I like it. I think this is the way to go now.
This will come in handy fishing, I will say that. And for tick season, I mean, you really want, these are things you have to think about.
It's time for Yankee Fandana.
I'll get Yankee Fisherman Fandanas. Mark that down.
We will be selling these at the 5K for just $5. 5K, $5.
It sounds like that $5 goes a long way, too. And it's just, I know that Griffin Hospital is a special part of the Valley, and it's just great to see the community come together and 7 years now and growing.
Griffin's been around for 100 years. We hope to be around for many, many more hundreds. So
register by May 23rd, and you save that $5 and can get a fan dance. Register before the price goes up on May 23rd. Once you're registered, check in 7:30. 350 Seymour Avenue is the address. Walk run starts at 9. Register in advance.
Yes, griffinhealth.org/5K. It's gonna be a great time. I can almost guarantee no rain.
All right.
If you want to do the weather every morning at 11, feel free to stop by.
All right, well, Christian, great to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. These are your old stomping grounds, too,
I was gonna
right?
say, wasn't advertising in here one point
yes,
in time?
we just kicked him out. We just kicked him out.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, I used to be the editor of the Monroe Courier, and then I did sports and all sorts
Your
of
name is still tacked at very like on Bill Bloxham's desk. I think it's still. I think you might have your old desk or something because your name's up there.
I'm sure my face is on a dartboard somewhere.
Carved somewhere too in some places. But Mario Recupero might be responsible for that.
Oh, it's possible.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, we're going to step out, regroup, come back, and wrap things up on your coffee break for this Wednesday. Thanks again to Christian Marr. Support the Griffin 5K. It's helping people at a time of need, and it's helping them pretty much directly. It's really a great thing to step out for.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christian.
You're listening to Coffee Break, watching the stream on HANradio.com, streaming on the Hersam Acorn Network.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
Did you know that taking dance lessons is a great date night idea? Arthur Murray Grand Ballroom of Greenwich is a fabulous place to learn to dance and meet new people. Located at 6 Lewis Street, our studio is staffed with professional instructors, ready to teach you salsa, waltz, rumba, hustle, tango. There's a dance for every season. And we are rated #1 on the Knot.com. We are the wedding dance specialists. Take advantage of our new student offer, only $49. Call 203-769-1800. Visit us online at arthurmurraygreenwich.com.
It's easy to advertise on HANradio.com. Reach 263,000 listeners each month with our sports programming and talk programming. Call Marianne Hersam at 203-417-5199.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com.
Welcome back to your coffee break, presented by Stratford Orthodontics on HANradio.com, streaming live on the Hersam Acorn Network. John Kovach, joined by Josh Fisher, Rob Adams, host of people behind the scenes. Thanks to Christian Marr for coming by and talking about the Griffin 5K that supports their cancer center.
It's always nice to see Christian.
Yes.
And he does a great job for Griffin Hospital, too.
Yes. And he's very enthusiastic, and that came through.
You could tell why he got out of this business. He's so enthusiastic.
News that was posted this morning by the Weston Forum, and this is a story that I remember from when I was at the New Canaan Advertiser. A former Weston school bus driver who was serving time in prison for threatening public officials apparently committed suicide in prison in February, according to Weston police. Scott Dacus, a.k.a. Scott Dacus, there's a difference in the spelling there, was incarcerated at the Osborne Correctional Institution in Somers. He was 53 when, on February 14th, he jumped from a railing at the top tier of the prison cell block. According to Patty Gay's story in the Western Forum, a surveillance tape showed him climbing onto the railing around 6:30 that morning, then falling headfirst from the railing to the floor about 25 feet below. He was serving a 12-year sentence to be suspended after 5 years for threatening Weston and New Canaan public officials and for possession of child pornography. In July of 2010, he engaged in a 12-hour standoff with police at his New Canaan home while they tried to arrest him. Weston police received no notice of his death. Weston Police Chief John Troxell told the Western Forum. A spokesman for the Journal-Inquirer said they got word of the death in February from the state police log at Troop C in Tolland. State police investigate any crime involving a prisoner at a correctional institution. You can read more on this story at thewesternforum.com.
Thanks, John. About 100 Milford residents assembled in the City Hall auditorium yesterday to express opposition to a proposed 180-unit apartment complex that includes affordable housing on a 26-acre parcel behind an office building at 440 Wheelers Farm Road. The hearing lasted 2.5 hours. The P&Z hearing on the plan, submitted by Milford Developers LLC of Chatham, New Jersey, will resume on Tuesday, June 9th at 7:30 p.m. in the City Hall auditorium. The board continued the hearing as it awaits reports and decisions from the Police Commission and the Inland Wetlands Agency. The Police Commission will meet on Monday, June 8th at 7 p.m. at police headquarters to review the traffic plan for the project. The Inland Wetlands hearing will continue on Wednesday, June 3rd at 7:30 p.m. in the Board of Education meeting room of the Parsons Government Complex. You can follow more on this story at milfordmirror.com. John?
Josh, I'm looking for any information on traffic involving President Obama's upcoming visit to Stamford, which will be sometime in the next couple of hours. I'm seeing nothing here, so we'll just keep an eye on the websites. He is currently talking about climate change in delivering the commencement address at the U.S. Coast Guard Academy in New London.
Where's he supposed to land? Or is he just going to land in North Stamford?
Give me 2 seconds.
All right. Because it could be possible that he's just going to avoid the roads altogether. And I know that the gathering is up in North Stamford.
Well, he's landing at Westchester.
Oh, Westchester. So, because in the past when he's been around in Westchester and going into Connecticut, remember they've shut down 95 and the Merritt Parkway for miles to let the presidential motorcade go through. But usually they give us a little bit more notice. Remember, what do they call it? Was it Traffic Armageddon or something that happened?
Carmageddon,
some silly pun. Well, anyway, there's a. Do we want to do weather first, John?
We can take one last look at the weather, sure.
Let's do that.
Currently 59 still outside our Shelton office. Cloudy. Not going to get much warmer, mid-60s, lows in the mid-40s tonight. Tomorrow, sunny, highs approaching 70. And where we'll be, it'll be
frosty.
Frosty
with a chance of a second glass.
There you go. That's going to do it for your coffee break here on HANradio.com. Kate Czaplinski will be back. We'll be coming to you tomorrow from Two Roads. Rob Adams will be back with some sports on Nutmeg Sports at 2. Thanks for checking in and sharing your coffee break with us.
See you in Stratford tomorrow, John.
Can't wait.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com. The leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.